Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about objects of verbs. This could be referenced on page 52 in your textbooks. The two types of objects we're going to talk about are direct and indirect. Let's start. Direct objects are always nouns or pronouns, and they will always follow an action verb, always. This is a difficult definition to understand, but they are the person or thing that receives the action of the verb. So to come up with an example here, we could say that the mechanic fixed the car. When I take a look at this sentence, I see the action verb fixed, and I wonder what was fixed. Car is the noun that was fixed, so it is a direct object.
Now, sometimes it's difficult to try and figure out what's the thing that receives the action. So here's my tip. I always ask myself, what is the thing being verbed? So in this example that says, Mr. Hepworth picked flowers, I see that the verb, the action verb, is the word picked. Now, this one is easy because there's only one option. But I can still ask myself, what is the thing being verbed, or what is the thing being picked? And the answer is flowers. So that makes flowers our direct object. Let's take a look at a couple of examples. The first example reads, Carolyn grabs the teething ring. So the first thing that we do is figure out what the action verb is. In this sentence, the action verb is the word grabs. Then, if you can figure out the thing that receives the action, you could figure out that the direct object is the word ring. If you need the tip, you just say it like this. Ask yourself, what is the thing being verbed? What is the thing being grabbed? And the answer is ring.
Twiggy boards the spaceship. I know that the verb is boards, and that's an action verb. So I ask myself, she's boarding who or what? She's boarding the spaceship. So spaceship is my direct object there.
Caroline in the Exer-Saucer. I didn't know that was a real thing. Did you know that was a real thing? I didn't know that was a real thing. Caroline in the Exer-Saucer sees the monkey toy. Now, the first thing that I am going to do is I am going to cross out the words in the Exer-Saucer because I know that that's a prepositional phrase, and we're going to ignore prepositional phrases. So that leaves me with this sentence. Carolyn sees the monkey toy. The monkey toy. The monkey toy. Carolyn sees the monkey toy. I look at the verb sees, and then I ask myself, what is the thing being verbed? What's the thing being seen? And the answer is the toy. That makes toy the direct object. All right, one more.
We'll take a quick moment to say that it's not Carolyn, it's Caroline, Mr. Hepworth. Also, Twiggy wants an Exer-Saucer too because it looks like a little spaceship a lot. A little like? It looks like a spaceship. This is a long sentence. I'm confused. I have to pay attention to my verb. I think the verb here is wants. That's an action. It's something I can do. I can want something. Who or what do I want? Or Twiggy, I should say. Twiggy wants who or what? She wants the Exer-Saucer. The rest of the sentence is something we will cover next semester called a clause.
Twiggy has clauses too, but you should not confuse those clauses with sentence clauses.
Direct objects can also come with an indirect object. An indirect object is also a noun or a pronoun, and it too will always come with an action verb. An indirect object is a little like my sister Pam. It's in the middle. See, when Pammy was a little girl and she was scared at night, they remember this story just so you can cut it out.
No, that's cool. Go ahead. I'm listening.
They always remember this story.
Now I want to know the story.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Indirect objects are a little like my sister Pam. See, when Pammy was a little girl and she was scared at night, she'd go into my mom and dad's room and she would always want to sleep in the middle. An indirect object is always in the middle. It's found between the action verb and the direct object. So think of your action verb as mom, the direct object is dad, Pammy, the indirect object, she's in the middle. This will be the noun or pronoun that answers the question to whom or for whom the action is done. So, for example, Caroline gives Twiggy the monkey toy. First, find your direct object. Actually, first find your action verb. Gives is your action verb. Caroline gives who or what? What is being given? The toy is being given. So toy is the direct object. Now we know the indirect object has to be in the middle. So our choices are Twiggy, the, or monkey. Now I want you to ask yourself, gives the toy to or for whom? Caroline gives the toy to whom? Well, she gives it to Twiggy. So Twiggy is our indirect object. I'm not sure Twiggy knows what to do with the monkey toy, though. That's a confused Twiggy.
Now, it is important to remember that not all direct objects will have an indirect object. For example, in this sentence that reads, Carolyn grabs the monkey toy.
Caroline, Mr. Hepburn.
I apologize profusely. Caroline grabs the monkey toy. So we still know that the action verb is grabs, and we still ask ourselves, what is the thing being grabbed? And it is the toy. Now, the monkey is not an indirect object because the and monkey are both adjectives that are describing toy. So don't confuse adjectives with indirect objects. No. Here's one more tip. An indirect object, even though it answers the question to whom or for whom, it can't actually come after the words to or for, because then it's not acting as an indirect object, but it's acting as a prepositional phrase. So if we look at the same example again, we have Caroline gives, there's our action verb. The thing being given is still the toy, so it is still our direct object. And in between the direct object and the action verb is Twiggy, because Caroline is giving Twiggy the monkey toy. She's giving it to Twiggy. Now, if I rewrite that very same sentence like this, Caroline gives the monkey toy to Twiggy, I still have an action verb, gives. I still have a direct object, the toy, that's still the thing being given. But now Twiggy follows the word to. And just like before, we're going to cross out prepositional phrases because the words to Twiggy are a prepositional phrase. All right, let's take a look at a couple of examples here. First sentence reads like this. Twiggy loves Mrs. Hepworth. Yes, she does. I do too. That's, oh, it's gross. Okay, our action verb is the word loves, so we asked ourselves, what is the thing being verb? What's the thing being loved? And the answer, of course, is Mrs. Hepworth. That's pretty nice. The second sentence reads like this. Twiggy wears her new jetpack around the house. Around the house is crossed out because that is a prepositional phrase. Then we see that the word wears is our action verb, and we ask ourselves, what is the thing being verbed? What's the thing being worn? And the answer is the jetpack. So that is our direct object.
In this third sentence, I actually have two verbs. Caroline grabs Twiggy's fur and laughs. Caroline is doing two things. She is grabbing and laughing. Only one of these verbs has a direct object, though. She grabs who or what? She grabs the fur. So fur is our direct object there. Caroline also brings Twiggy her treats. Brings is my action verb here. Caroline brings who or what? She brings the treats. So treats is my direct object. And she is bringing these treats to Twiggy. And since Twiggy is in the middle and it answers the question to or for whom, Twiggy is my indirect object.
Okay. The last sentence reads like this. Playing in the yard, Twiggy stalks the mouse through the bushes. We have a couple things to cross out. We're going to start with through the bushes because that is a prepositional phrase. We're going to cross out playing in the yard because that is another type of phrase, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Leaves us with a very basic sentence, which reads, Twiggy stalks the mouse. Stalks is our action verb, and we ask ourselves, what is the thing being stalked? The answer is the mouse, and that is because the mouse is the direct object. All right, we've covered a lot of material, so if you've got some questions, write them down and come ask us in class. Ta-da!